So UFC 288 Sterling versus Cejudo is going to be taking place this weekend. These are my final predictions for the card, and I am very much looking forward to this card. And I'm also very much looking forward to this weekend of MMA because you've got ONE FC, you've got this card, you've also got Canelo, which is boxing, but it's also still a big event anyway. But before we do get into it, you can actually get a 125% sign up bonus using my link there, and then on that side there is my We Want Picks 3-day free trial. And what you can get is if you sign up to the We Want Picks website and go to their premium section and you sign up using my code ARTEM, you will get a 3-day free trial, which you can cancel at any time, so you can get to see kind of what all of this is all about if you do sign up, and then you can decide if you want to continue with the subscription. But now let's get into the predictions. Daniel Santos taking on Johnny Munoz Jr. in the first fight of the night. I'm pretty confident Daniel Santos gets it done here. He is the much better striker. Johnny Munoz Jr. still has yet to impress me. Daniel Santos is decent grappling as well. He's going to be able to avoid the grappling situations, in my opinion, that Johnny Munoz Jr. is going to try and set up. And Johnny Munoz Jr., he just didn't look that good against Ludwig Shalinian. The fight against Tony Gravely didn't last very long, but he didn't look that great either. And Jamie Simmons was just never UFC level, and of course he submitted him, you know what I mean? Johnny Munoz Jr., he's a good grappler, but he just hasn't beaten anyone that is the level of Daniel Santos. Now, Daniel Santos, he was a weird signing to the UFC because he had so long off, you know, he had about a 2-year layoff before he made his debut, but he's trains with the Shootbox guys, and you know how the Shootbox guys fight? If you like Charlie Olives, you will like Daniel Santos. They all fight with a very similar sort of style. Very aggressive Muay Thai. Very aggressive grappling as well. They're always looking for the finish. They're always in fun fights. I like Daniel Santos here. I think Daniel Santos probably finds a KO as well. The problem with Daniel Santos is, though, he does throw a lot of spinning attacks, which can get him in trouble against someone that is going to wrestle and grapple him, like Johnny Munoz Jr., because he could be in the middle of a spinning attack. And like you did see with Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko, you can't see the poster, but it is right there. It can get in trouble, you know, but I think Daniel Santos should be pretty safe here if he can keep it simple on the feet and just light him up. I think you can light Johnny Munoz Jr. up on the feet. I've got him inside the distance. KO is the most likely finish, but Santos does have submissions as well. Maybe a club and sub, or maybe he goes for his own offensive grappling. I wouldn't really recommend it, but it could be something that happens as well. Now we're going to move up the card. Joseph Holmes taking on Claudio Ribeiro. When I first made my prediction videos a couple of days ago, I wasn't too confident in Claudio Ribeiro, but that confidence has increased over time. I do like Claudio Ribeiro, and I do like him by knockout, and he's probably going to win by knockout in the first or the second round. You know, Claudio Ribeiro, he does have a lot of early finishes, but he's got a lot of late finishes on his record as well, but most of them are the first round finish, and I do expect him to find a first round finish over Joseph Holmes. Now, Joseph Holmes, the much more technical striker, probably the better grappler as well, but Claudio Ribeiro, his takedown defense is pretty good. And even if his opponents do get him to the ground, he is very good at getting back up to his feet. And that is where he's going to want the fight. He's going to want the fight on the feet, where he is the less technical striker, but he's the more powerful striker. He swings like a wild man. He's got nasty, nasty leg kicks. And if he lands clean, Joseph Holmes will be getting knocked out in this matchup. But Joseph Holmes, as I did say, will be more technical than Claudio Ribeiro. Claudio Ribeiro is not a technical guy at all, kind of with anything he does. But he does have insane power, and I do think he will land on Joseph Holmes in this fight. Now, Joseph Holmes, he's got a lot of submissions on his record, so maybe you could see him go for a bit of offensive wrestling here, try and get Claudio Ribeiro down. But as I said, if you can get Ribeiro down, you've got to try and keep him down, and that is easier said than done. But maybe Joseph Holmes, with his 6'4" frame, maybe could work something up there and try and choke out Claudio Ribeiro. I just don't see it happening. I think Claudio Ribeiro will win by knockout in this matchup, and probably early on as well, maybe first or second round KO on the Claudio Ribeiro side. We move on up the card. Zhumagulov taking on Rafael Estevam. I like Rafael Estevam here at this point of both of their careers. Rafael Estevam is definitely the more hungry fighter of the two. Rafael Estevam, he's 11-0, up and coming, hasn't really fought anyone the level of Zhumagulov, to be fair, but he's going to be a lot more hungry than Zhalgas. Zhalgas lost to Charles Johnson in a fight he probably should have won, and then he retired, man. He did not react to that loss very well whatsoever. and he said that he was going to retire. He probably took a couple of weeks off maybe from training, and now he's back, and now he's not retired. So I don't really know what's going on with Zhalgas. Maybe he's not 110% committed to the game, whereas Rafael Estevam is a young, up-and-coming 26-year-old guy. This is his UFC debut. He is taking it on somewhat short notice as well. And I think Rafael Estevam beats Zhalgas here. Zhalgas is going to look to wrestle. He's going to look to hold Rafael up against the cage. But Rafael Estevam's a decent wrestler himself. And in the pure jiu-jitsu grappling, he's a great grappler as well. He's got a lot of submissions, but he's also got a lot of knockouts on the feet. On the feet, Rafael Estevam will be dangerous. He'll be dangerous on the ground as well. He beats up Jael Elias for the first round badly and then finished him off in Dana White's Contender Series. I don't think you're going to see a one-sided beating like that, but I do think you're going to see Rafael Estevam manage to get it done over Zhalgas Zhumagulov in this matchup here. I don't think it goes to distance either. I think a lot of these prelims are going to finish inside the distance, and I think Rafael Estevam is probably going to win inside the distance as well. Only 81% are picking Estevam. That's a lot, sorry, but only 19% of that 81% are actually picking him to win by finish, which is very interesting. Now we move up the card. Ikram Aliskerov taking on Phil Hawes. Now a lot of people are picking Phil Hawes. I am pretty high on Ikram Aliskerov, man. I really do think he's going to get it done over Phil Hawes. Phil Hawes on paper has a 100% takedown defense rate. That is great. But you've got to consider who has even tried to take him down. Kyle Dalkaus is the only fighter in the UFC who has tried to take Phil Hawes down. And that's it. And let's be honest, Kyle Dalkaus ain't that great. He's not that good. Nastadin Imavov never took him down. Or never even attempted to take him down. Malkoun never got the opportunity. Bistayev never got the opportunity on Dana White's Contender Series. Deron Wynn, despite being a wrestler, never even attempted to take him down. No one has ever attempted to take him down aside from Kyle Dalkaus. And that win has aged very, very poorly. So, yeah, and the thing is, we don't even know what Phil Hawes looks like when he's on his back. And I can probably make a pretty fair assumption that it's not good. I don't really see Phil Hawes having too much off his back. Yes, he's got that great takedown defense, but against Kyle Dalkaus. And of course, Phil Hawes was the better wrestler in that matchup because Phil Hawes, I believe, is a national wrestling champion in the USA when he was in college or something along those lines. But Ikram Aliskerov here, although his wrestling itself might not be fantastic, I think he can chain it together to get Phil Hawes down to the ground for the first time in Phil Hawes' career. And on top of that as well, Ikram Aliskerov is not lost on the feet. Ikram Aliskerov is very good at grappling when the fight gets to the ground. And even then, if Phil Hawes wanted to get the fight to the ground, which I think would be a bad idea, Ikram Aliskerov also has great takedown defense. He's a 4-time Sambo world champion. He defended takedowns from Khamzat Chimaev when they were both coming up. He did get KO'd in the first early on, but Aliskerov did kind of show a lot of resistance in that matchup, and now he's taking on Phil Hawes, who's chinny, who is old. He's 34 years old, and I think we're going to see him taken down and put on his back for the first time in his UFC career, and I don't think he's going to have too much on his back. I like Ikram Aliskerov here. I'm kind of leaning the decision side for Aliskerov, but Aliskerov does have a pretty good Kimura. He's actually got the Kimura on the Dana White's Contender Series, and then he got it again in Brave FC 2 years ago. So maybe you could see Aliskerov work some sort of submission while he is on top position, but I do think Aliskerov takes Phil Hawes down. I think he gets on top of Phil Hawes and probably lands some good ground and pounds and works for submissions as well. I think Phil Hawes' best opportunity to win this fight is to knock Aliskerov out on the feet, and I don't think he's going to do that. So give me Ikram Aliskerov to win this matchup. We move on up the card. Parker Porter taking on Braxton Smith. I'm seeing a lot of people pick Braxton Smith on YouTube, and I'm not on that side, but I feel like maybe my mind could be changed in the future depending on the result of this fight. I am on the Parker Porter side. Do I think he should be a minus 190 favorite? No, when this fight got announced, actually, I was hoping Parker Porter would be the underdog because I was actually thinking, oh, that sounds crazy, this is probably like the 1-800 gambler fight of the night. But if Parker Porter was the dog, I probably would have put a little bit of money on Parker Porter at underdog odds. But we can't do that. It's Braxton Smith round 1 KO or nothing for him. So if you're going to bet this fight, probably bet Braxton Smith round 1 KO. But I like Parker Porter to win this matchup. Braxton Smith, he's 5-1. He's never left the first round. I believe he lost his first fight to Chase Sherman by first round knockout, but I'm not too sure because there's not really any information on it and I couldn't find it. But I watched all of his fights on YouTube. He hasn't really fought the best guys. He's fought the same guy twice, which is Jacori Savage. But yeah, this guy he's got crazy power, insane power. He's very athletic as well. I don't know how tall he is. It says it's 5'11". He said in an interview he's 5'11", but another website, Sherdog, said that he's 5'9", and he's not very tall at all compared to his opponents. But what he does, man, is what he comes forward and he just knocks people out. That's all he does, which is very impressive, I know. But Parker Porter, he is probably going to stand there and get knocked out. But I'm trusting Parker Porter to fight a smart game plan and pressure Braxton Smith early and take him down and wrestle him, because Braxton Smith, he doesn't really seem to have the best cardio. It's unproven, is what I should say, because he's never left the first round before. He's never been wrestled before, and he's never been taken down. So we don't know what Braxton Smith looks like when he's taken down. We don't know what Braxton Smith looks like if the fight gets to the second round, and we don't know what he looks like if he gets tired, and all of these things. He's so unproven to me. I've got to go with Parker Porter, who I know can push a pace, who I know can wrestle, who I know did get KO'd 2 months ago by Justin Tuffer, and he's already back, which is scary, but it's heavyweight, so these guys don't have to cut weight. I can see Braxton Smith knocking him out in the first, but I do think it's going to be a Parker Porter probably late finish or decision. I think if he can weather the storm from the first round, I think Braxton Smith is going to get tired. I think Parker Porter can continue the fight throughout 3 rounds. So I'm going with the Porter side. 24% of people are on Porter, 76% on Smith, but he's the underdog. I was hoping, as I said, like when I saw people were on Smith, I was kind of hoping I could get Porter as an underdog, but it doesn't look like that's the case. So I'll see what I can do about that. I will be doing a live fight companion for this card this weekend, so I probably will be placing bets, and I will be letting you guys know what bets I'm placing as the card kind of rolls on. Now we move up to Marina Rodriguez taking on Virna Jandiroba. The odds for this fight are closing up, man, and I kind of like it, but I don't bet women's MMA. I don't like betting women's MMA at all, except for when I bet Arina Alexeva inside the distance at like plus 800 last weekend, actually. That was a pretty good one, but aside from that, Marina Rodriguez, I am picking her to beat Virna Jandiroba, but at the moment she's sitting at minus 165 on Tapology. You can get her at minus 125 Bet Online at the moment, I believe, which is very like close odds. I think that Marina Rodriguez is the much better striker than Virna Jandiroba. I think Virna Jandiroba, if she wins this fight, she has to wrestle and she has to grapple. At this point in Marina Rodriguez's career, I still think that her takedown defense will be good enough to keep the fight at range and also on the feet. I think Virna Jandiroba is going to have to try and like work through a lot of straight shots and a lot of push kicks from Marina Rodriguez, who will be pushing her away and keeping her at bay with a lot of straight punches and a lot of like kicks down the middle, like push kicks, front kicks. And I think that Virna Jandiroba on the feet is not that good of a striker compared to Marina Rodriguez. And I think she's going to have to wrestle, and I think she's going to have to grapple. Yes, she's done that against what is probably a stylistically similar matchup against Angela Hill, and she did have a lot of success winning that fight. I think Marina Rodriguez is a step up in competition from that. I think if Marina Rodriguez wins this fight and then one more, she will finally get her title shot. I think Marina Rodriguez gets it done here. I think she gets it done by decision as well. Maybe a knockout, but I think decision's much more likely. But speaking of knockouts, we're gonna get one in this fight, man. It's Khaos Williams taking on Rolando Bedoya. Bad matchup for Rolando Bedoya. When I first made my breakdown, I was kind of like, yeah, I like Rolando Bedoya, because I do like Rolando Bedoya, and I do think he's a good signing for the UFC. I'm seeing people say like they don't understand why Bedoya got signed. Bedoya is good, and also the UFC wants fighters from Peru, but this is the worst possible matchup he probably could have gotten in his debut, because Khaos Williams has that one-punch power. Have we seen it recently? Not really is the problem, because he knocked out Miguel Baeza, which is fantastic, but then when he fought Randy Brown, he knocked him down twice, but he didn't throw enough volume to win the fight overall. You know, I thought that he won the fight, but he just didn't do anything. It wasn't that great of a fight for a Khaos Williams fight, which always are great. You know, he went to war with Semelsberger, fought Mikhail Pahea, knocked out Abdul Razak Al Hassan in the first round, but Khaos Williams, man, he has the KO power to knock someone like Rolando Bedoya out, because Rolando Bedoya, he's training at Shootbox Diego Lima at the moment, which I do love to see, But man, this guy is hittable, and you can't be hittable fighting Khaos Williams. You're seeing Helena Bedoya get rocked. You're seeing him getting knocked down by lesser fighters and less powerful guys than Khaos Williams, man. I think Bedoya is going to get KO'd in this fight. It's a bad matchup for Bedoya. Bedoya does have a ground game, but I don't think he's going to get the fight to the ground. And I think he might even want to strike with Khaos Williams, which just isn't that good of an idea. Bedoya's path to victory is honestly to kind of hope that Khaos Williams, the low volume version of Khaos Williams, the Khaos Williams that showed up against Randy Brown, shows up and Helena Bedoya can win a decision just by landing more and throwing more. But that's a dangerous game, fighting Khaos Williams on the feet, because this guy does have insane KO power. Maybe Bedoya looks to wrestle, maybe he looks to grapple, but I like Khaos Williams by KO, and I kind of like him in the first round as well by KO. He's going to land on Bedoya early. Bedoya's been caught before. He's going to get caught again. And I think that he's going to get caught by Khaos Williams. So, give me Khaos Williams to win by KO. It's going to be an interesting fight. But I do think Williams gets it done. Probably in the first round as well. Now we move up the card. Devin Clark taking on Kennedy Nzechukwu. Kennedy Nzechukwu is not a man I trust. And he's not a man I'll trust with my money. But I do think that he wins this fight. I do think he beats Devin Clark, who is coming off a win actually recently to Da Un Young, which is an interesting one because Kennedy Nzechukwu actually lost to Da Un Young. But Kevin Clark, he's going to want to wrestle with Kennedy, but Kennedy does have very good takedown defense. He's a very big guy for the division. He's 6'5", 83-inch reach. He's massive for 205 pounds, which is a good thing because he can defend takedowns. He's got that wide base as well, so he's not that difficult to take down. And he's on a good win streak too. He just beat Ion Cutelaba, which is a great win, and Ion Cutelaba was trying to take him down. I think it's going to be a similar matchup to that. I think Kennedy Nzechukwu will manage to frustrate Devin Clark on the feet. I think he'll be able to beat Devin Clark up on the feet as well from range. But as I said, this guy isn't really someone you can trust because his fight IQ isn't that great. Sometimes he can make weird decisions, and sometimes he can fight low volume. He's a very confusing fighter, who I don't have the best read on, I will be honest, but I do think he can get past Devin Clark, who I kind of just seem to pick against all the time, unfortunately, because I picked Da Un Young to beat him, and then I picked Azamat Murzakanov to beat him, and I'm pretty sure I picked William Knight to beat him as well, but that fight was at heavyweight, so it was a weird one. But anyway, I've got Kennedy Nzechukwu. I don't really know how I feel about the KO though, because I'm seeing people in Tapology picking by KO. I think if Nzechukwu gets a KO, it'd probably be late, probably round 3, maybe round 2. I don't really mind Nzechukwu managing to outpoint his way to a decision. We move on to the featured prelim of the night. This is probably going to be the fight of the night, if I can make a prediction for that. Drew Dober taking on Matt Frevola. This will be a banger fight, but it does kind of depend if Matt Frevola decides to put the wrestling shoes on like he has in the past, like he did against Jalen Turner, or if he decides to stand and bang like he did in his last 2 fights, especially against Genaro Valdez, where he stood and banged with him and he knocked him down 3 or 4, 5 times, just absolutely smashed him before he ended up getting the finish. But after that, he took on Otman Azaita. I picked Otman Azaita to win, but let's just say Otman Azaita, without the potatoes, is not the same fighter at all. Otman Azaita looked like a shell of his former self in that matchup. Matt Frevola managed to knock him out in the first round. Drew Dober, on the other hand, is going to be a tough guy for anyone to knock out. And I think that Drew Dober will be able to withstand whatever Matt Frevola throws his way on the feet. Keep the fight on the feet, because Matt Frevola probably will want to wrestle, which would be a smart game plan against Drew Dober. That we have seen pretty good takedown defense from Drew Dober in the past. We've seen very good grappling defense from Drew Dober in the past against the likes of Islam Makhachev. Yes, he did get beaten up by Islam Makhachev in that fight, but he did kind of show very good grappling defense and kind of didn't give Islam Makhachev the opportunity to finish him until the very end of the 3rd round. Whereas in this matchup here, Matt Frevola is not the same level of wrestler or grappler as Islam Makhachev, in my opinion. In fact, I think that should be everyone's opinion, but Drew Dober, I think, is the better striker. He's got the better arsenal of strikes as well. Like we're talking about, I believe he was a national Muay Thai champion in the USA. He's got great kickboxing. He's a great striker. He's experienced as well. He's been in the UFC for a long time, and he's also been a pro for a long time as well, because this guy turned pro. No, so this guy made his amateur debut when he was 17 years old. He's been doing MMA for almost 20 years now. Drew Dober's been around, he's been there, he's down there, and now he's finally ranked in the UFC. I think he can defend his ranking against Matt Frevola and work his way up. Maybe he'll get that Jalen Turner matchup that he really wants, but it'll be interesting to see. I've got Dober. Do I think he KOs Matt Frevola though? That's an interesting one. I think he does. Second round. I think the first round will be close. I think Matt Frevola will have his moments, but Drew Dober's, he's got that iron shit on him, man. He's not getting KO'd by anyone anytime soon. So I kind of think that Drew Dober will manage to survive the first round from Matt Frevola if Matt Frevola decides to stand and bang, and if Matt Frevola manages to land on top of that, or keep the fight on the feet and then win using his superior striking and probably get a second round knockout. Kron Gracie taking on Charles Jourdain in the main card, and my confidence in Charles Jourdain has decreased, but I'm still picking Charles Jourdain. This is a weird one because I found out that Kron Gracie actually took time away from MMA to work on his striking, but that's a long time to step away from MMA. That's 3.5 years Kron Gracie is taken away to work on his striking, so I'm sure he probably was doing other things during that period of time. Maybe he kind of got into like business or something like that, I don't know. But Kron Gracie, he is a grappler. He's got the Gracie surname. He actually didn't want to fight in MMA. He actually wanted to be a professional skateboarder, but the name and I believe his family kind of made him get into MMA. But I think that Kron Gracie is very live as an underdog in this matchup, just because Charles Jourdain, he's a little bit too crazy and he can put himself in bad situations and he can maybe even get taken down by someone like Kron Gracie. But Kron Gracie, in my opinion, he doesn't have the best wrestling, or he didn't 3.5 years ago. So he probably has improved that wrestling 3.5 years ago, since 3.5 years ago. But I just gonna go with the guy that has been more active, the guy that is the more well-rounded mixed martial arts fighter, which is Charles Jourdain, who doesn't have the worst grappling in the world, but mostly probably is a striker, is what I would describe. But Charles Jourdain is a crazy fighter, man. He is, you know what I mean? He fights kind of wild. He puts himself in bad positions, and I feel like I've got a bad feeling Kron Gracie just subs him, but I think Charles Jourdain's actually going to finish Kron Gracie. Kron Gracie showed an insane chin and toughness against Cub Swanson, but I think Charles Jourdain might be able to beat him up on the feet and then finish him late in the fight, but my confidence has decreased over time. I think Kron Gracie may be a very live underdog here, but I'm just going to still go with Jourdain. You know, we've seen more from Jourdain in the last 3.5 years. You know, Jourdain's fought 5 times in the last 1.5 years. Where's Kron Gracie been? We don't know. Has he been training? Probably. But has he been training his wrestling, his striking? We don't know. Kron Gracie could come out here and be a better striker than Charles Jourdain if he focused 3.5 years purely on striking. Who knows? Who knows what could happen in this matchup? It's such an interesting one. Now we move up to Movsar Evloev taking on Bryce Mitchell. And I do like Movsar Evloev in this matchup. I think Movsar Evloev wins a decision. Or I'm actually not really minding a third round finish here. But it depends on how the fight goes, really. Movsar Evloev, he has not really shown an ability to finish anyone in his career, especially in the UFC. He hasn't finished anyone in his UFC run. All decisions here, especially in the last 5 fights. But I think that he can beat Bryce Mitchell here. Bryce Mitchell isn't the best striker. I know he dropped Edson Barboza, but Edson Barboza was absolutely terrified of the takedown in that matchup. And I believe what is going to happen here is Movsar Evloev probably can outstrike Bryce Mitchell on the feet by landing more volume. And Movsar Evloev can shoot for offensive takedowns and be safe against Bryce Mitchell. I think Bryce Mitchell in this matchup is only the better grappler when it comes to the pure grappling and the BJJ. But I think Movsar Evloev will be the better striker and will be the better wrestler as well. It is worth noting though that this is a short notice fight, and Movsar Evloev in the past in his career has shown bad cardio, or at least that's a hole in his game, and that is worrying coming in on short notice. We don't know how good his cardio is, we don't know how ready he is for the fight, but I'm kind of just going to trust Movsar Evloev to be prepared for this matchup. I think he gets it done. I think he gets it done by decision most likely, but a third round finish, you can probably get crazy plus money on a third round finish from Movsar Evloev, so might be worth that, and then betting Movsar Evloev by decision. I'm seeing a lot of people on the Bryce Mitchell side. I can kind of understand it, but at the same time I kind of don't. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see Bryce Mitchell winning this fight. I'm happy to eat my words, I really am, but I genuinely do feel like Movsar Evloev is probably going to come and beat Bryce Mitchell here. But Bryce Mitchell seems to have a good attitude towards the fight. And he embedded, he said stuff like, this is a real prospect versus prospect fight. The winner of this fight is really going to have like a good future in the sport, this and that. But Bryce Mitchell as well, when he lost to Ilia Topuria, which was only 2 months ago, when he was beaten up on the feet, knocked down, he like said he was going to retire. He was blaming this and that. He said he had the flu. He said he didn't have any money. Like all of these little things that Bryce Mitchell was saying, like how committed is he now? You know what I mean? Like, did he take a couple of weeks off, considering the fact that the fight was only about 10 weeks ago? A couple of weeks off is a long period of time. So who really knows what's going to happen here? I think Movsar Evloev is the more committed MMA fighter, and I kind of think he's gonna be the one to get it done over Bryce Mitchell. Main card, move up. I guess we're still on the main card. I don't know what I'm on about. Jessica Andrade taking on Xiaonan Yan. You guys might know, but I am a Xiaonan Yan fan. I actually thought that Xiaonan Yan beat Marina Rodriguez. I thought that I picked Xiaonan Yan to beat Marina Rodriguez, but it turns out I didn't. I actually picked Marina Rodriguez. I looked back at it because I mentioned it in my previous video that I picked Xiaonan Yan to beat Marina Rodriguez, and I didn't. But I actually thought that Xiaonan Yan won the fight despite the Marina Rodriguez pick. Did that make any sense? Probably not. But I did pick Xiaonan Yan to beat Mackenzie Dern, and like no one was on Xiaonan Yan on that fight. I think like less than 20% of people on Tapology were picking Xiaonan Yan, and I was kind of like one of those people that was picking Yan. I thought Yan was going to keep the fight on the feet and beat her up on the feet, and that's exactly what she did. This is a different fight though, because Jessica Andrade, unlike Mackenzie Dern, can mix in her striking with her wrestling and grappling, because Mackenzie Dern, her striking is pretty bad, but her offensive wrestling is also not that good, but her jiu-jitsu is fantastic. But what Mackenzie Dern kind of struggles with is being able to kind of use her striking to threaten the takedown. Mackenzie Dern kind of has to get a takedown to win the fight against most opponents, and I feel like Jessica Andrade, she can win this fight on the feet, and she can win this fight on the ground. And I feel like what is going to be important in this matchup is Jessica Andrade can probably land some really good shots on Xiaonan Yan, have Xiaonan Yan worried about the strikes coming towards her, and then shoot a takedown and potentially get it. Because Jessica Andrade, she's only 5'1", but she is very strong, especially for 115 pounds. She's been fighting at 125 pounds and beating up the girls over there, and now she's coming down a weight class against Xiaonan Yan, who in the past has been kind of proven to be very one-dimensional, but she fixed that hole in her game over that course of about a year, and now her takedown defense is much better. But the thing is, though, the difference between Mackenzie Dern and Jessica Andrade, as I said, is Jessica Andrade can mix her striking in with her grappling, and Andrade can threaten the takedown as well as the striking. So Xiaonan Yan now has to worry about the striking and the grappling, whereas against Mackenzie Dern, the striking was not an issue, like at all. Xiaonan Yan was a much better striker in that fight. And I do think Andrade does get it done. I don't think she gets a finish. I think Xiaonan Yan's tough, but if Xiaonan Yan gets taken down easily, it could be a completely different story, because we saw Carla Esparza manage to get a finish over Xiaonan Yan by dominating her in the wrestling. So we could see something happen, but I know that Yan has definitely improved her takedown defense, has definitely improved her grappling. She's going to want this fight on the feet, but even on the feet, Andrade is going to be dangerous. She won't be as technical, but she's still going to be scrappy, and she's still going to be able to land. I think Andrade mixes it all up to get a decision in this matchup. Now we move on to the co-main event. Very, very interesting one here, because it is Belal Muhammad versus Gilbert Burns. 5 rounds is a key as well in the matchup, and a key as well in the matchup is at short notice. Belal Muhammad and Gilbert Burns both accepted this fight on short notice, and it was only a couple of weeks ago, I believe, as well. And I think that Gilbert Burns is the guy that's more in shape, because Belal Muhammad, you know, he was saying stuff on Twitter like he's not going to be able to make the weight. I'll take the fight, but it's got to be at a catch weight, 175, 180 pounds. Belal Muhammad kind of sounded like he didn't want to fight at 170, whereas Gilbert Burns is trying to get a title shot. He wants to fight at 170, and he probably wanted to fight at 5 rounds as well, because he knew that if he could beat Belal Muhammad in a 5-round fight, he has to get a title shot next. Now, rumor still is, no matter who wins this matchup, Colby Covington will get the title shot anyway, but the winner of this fight, 110%, will be next in line from the title shot after Colby, if they still do go with that Colby Covington fight. Now, I do think Gilbert Burns wins, but it's close. You know, Gilbert Burns, After watching it, Gilbert Burns is so much better at striking than Belal Muhammad. I'm seeing a lot of people say that Belal Muhammad's striking is pretty good. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that Belal Muhammad's striking is improving. I'm seeing people say that his striking is underrated. Belal Muhammad's striking is not good. Yes, it's improving, but that's not really a good thing because it was absolutely terrible to start with. Belal Muhammad, everyone's like, oh my goodness, like he just finished Sean Brady on the feet. That's absolutely insane. I picked Belal Muhammad to win. I didn't think he was going to get it done that way, but Sean Brady, going into that Belal Muhammad fight, and this is actually a very good reason why I picked Belal Muhammad to beat Sean Brady. Sean Brady was getting pieced up by Michael Chiesa, and Michael Chiesa is kind of well regarded as the worst welterweight striker of all time, or at least one of the worst welterweight strikers of all time. Michael Chiesa is a terrible striker, and he was beating Sean Brady up on the feet. And Sean Brady was having success against Belal Muhammad in the striking. It was actually quite a competitive striking fight, which is not a good look for Belal Muhammad whatsoever, because we're comparing Sean Brady to Michael Chiesa, which we're kind of then comparing him to Belal Muhammad, which is not good. Gilbert Burns is a much better striker than Belal. Burns held his own on the feet with Jorge Masvidal. He kind of made Jorge Masvidal maybe give up, because after the first round, which I thought Jorge Masvidal arguably could have won, as soon as Burns got him down early on in the second round, Jorge Masvidal just kind of didn't really have anything. And in the third round, Jorge Masvidal just didn't really fight like a guy that knew that he could be 1 or 2 rounds down and he needed to win the round or get a finish. And Burns ended up beating them. It's a credit to Burns, though. It's a good win. The win over Neil Magny is, I think, a pretty good win as well. I know it's Neil Magny, but Neil Magny's still a great fighter, still a guy that you can respect for beating as well. I think Gilbert Burns does beat Belal Muhammad here. I think he's a better striker. I don't think he's a better wrestler, but Belal Muhammad, I don't see Belal Muhammad taking Gilbert Burns down. And even if he does take Gilbert Burns down, I think Gilbert Burns can work to his feet here because he is a strong, short and stocky guy. And he will have better cardio, in my opinion, than Belal, who is coming off Ramadan right now, but he's also coming off the couch. He literally said on Twitter he will be coming off the couch for this fight. So Gilbert Burns, just fought very recently. He's in shape. He's in fight shape. He looks good. Belal Muhammad hasn't fought since that Sean Brady fight. I don't know what he's been doing over the period of time that's been. And he said he's coming off the couch. Who knows how committed Belal Muhammad really is? And this is just a little a weird little thing. But Belal Muhammad, dude, when you watch the episode 1 of the Embedded, they're doing push-ups in the gym. And the guy's counting to 10 and or counting down from 10 or whatever, and Belal Muhammad stops doing the push-ups before the timer and just kind of sits up and looks around like I used to do when I trained kickboxing. I used to be that lazy guy that didn't do all of the exercise. I'd skim out in the last second. So that's not a good sign because I was very, very out of shape when I started kickboxing. But yeah, I think that's also a bad sign because Gilbert Burns isn't finishing earlier. You know what I mean when it comes to the push-ups. That was a weird thing to mention, but it's just something that I noticed and I kind of laughed at it and I was like, oh yeah, I might just bring this up for a laugh. But anyway, Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejduo is the main event, and this is a big fight. There's GOAT talks going on. No, just no. I don't think the winner. I don't think if Sterling wins, he's not the GOAT of bantamweight. Sterling's gonna have to win a lot to be the GOAT of bantamweight because his whole legacy has got an asterisk beside it, which it kind of sucks, but it is true. And then Henry Cejduo on that hand, if he wins, yeah, he's a double champ, which is great, but I feel like if Henry Cejduo was more active and he had just more numbers on his record, like more title defenses, more wins, I feel like that would be more impressive to put him in the GOAT status, but I just don't see Henry Cejduo in MMA as the GOAT. I can understand overall in combat sports that you could rate him very, very highly because he does have the gold medal in the Olympics, which is insane, especially for MMA, because I don't think we've had another gold medalist in wrestling transitioned over to MMA. I could be wrong, let me know if I am, but that's great. I like Henry Cejduo in the fight as well, by the way. My confidence isn't very high, and I'm not going to be putting money on this fight. I don't think I'm going to put money on this fight for anything. I'm not going to bet one side, and I'm not going to bet an over-under because anything could happen in this fight. I think Aljamain Sterling, I think his best path to victory to win this fight is actually to win by submission, which is crazy to say because Henry Cejduo has never been taken down and he's also never been submitted. But I do think that Aljamain Sterling, if he wins, it would be by sub, and it probably would be by sub by rear naked choke because he's that human backpack. You know what I mean? And he doesn't even need to take guys down to get that position because he can have you up against the cage, and if you give your back when you're up against the cage, even still standing, Sterling can take the back and he still can lock in the triangle. The name of the triangle. I was literally talking about this in my YouTube Shorts video that I made literally like 10 minutes ago, but whatever. I think Henry Cejduo can avoid that position. I think Henry Cejduo can get his own offensive takedowns as well. And on the feet as well, I think it's competitive. I feel like maybe Sterling's got an edge because he does have that reach advantage. But Henry Cejduo's striking still pretty good. You know what I mean? I think Cejduo can mix it up. I like the ability of Cejduo to mix it up. And I like out of Cejduo, this guy has good game plans, man. This guy game plans for everything. He's created game plans in his retirement as a coach for fighters that have gone on to win and have a lot of success. And I think that Henry Cejduo will be able to kind of come up with his own good game plan and see things in the octagon that he'll be able to kind of utilize to beat Sterling. I do think we're going to see Henry Cejduo defend all of Sterling's takedowns if he even goes for any and avoid the backpack position. And on top of that, be able to go for his own takedowns. Now, the 3 years off is very scary. And some people are saying like it's not a big deal. It's a massive deal. That 3 years off is absolutely terrifying. In the 3 years that Henry Cejduo left, Aljamain Sterling has fought 4 times. One of those wins over Corey Sandhagen as well. And then the kind of situation with Jan and Dillashaw. But yeah, Henry Cejduo, man, very good wrestler. I think he can keep it on the feet if he wants to. I think he can take it to the ground if he wants to. I think maybe Cejduo could get a KO over Sterling. I think maybe Cejduo could win a decision over Sterling. But I think if Sterling wins, it's by decision or submission. Most likely submission, in my opinion. But it's a close fight. It's a close fight, and it's a good fight too. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I am on the Cejduo side, though, but it's so 50-50, man. Like, it's so 50-50 that it could go either way. Which is why I said at the start of this kind of part of the breakdown that I'm not going to be betting the fight. I don't want to bet either side in this matchup because I'm not confident that Cejduo gets it done, but I'm not that confident. I'm not confident. Well, I'm picking Cejduo, but I'm not going to bet Sterling. I'm not going to bet Cejduo. You know what I mean? Like, as I said, like, sometimes I do bet against my own picks, alright? And then I know it sounds weird, but it's not really super weird. I think it's actually pretty common. Like, for example, I think Parker Porter beats Braxton Smith. But I probably will place a bet on Braxton Smith to win by knockout in the first round because I think we probably can get pretty good odds on that. And then also, on top of that, like last week, I believe it was, I bet on Marina Aliskerov to win inside the distance over Stephanie Egger, despite being very confident in Stephanie Egger. And they ended up winning me some money. Like it's just kind of weird. Like I don't know. I bet like someone that professional bettors tell you to not bet. Like I don't know. I don't know how it works. So I do make profit. It's weird, but I definitely don't bet very smart. But it usually ends up working out in the end. That's why I don't like really post like bets because I bet like an idiot. I've got my whole bankroll on a rugby team this weekend. Like, I bet like a complete idiot. Don't really follow my bets too much. That's why I don't really post them. I like my picks though. I think my picks are pretty good. I want a bad run, but we're looking to snap that this weekend. I think we can. As always though, I will be doing that fight companion. Not really always. I do not do the fight companions as often as I did because I am waiting for my channel just to get a little bit bigger because when I do fight companions there's only a couple of people in there. It can get a little bit boring because I want to be talking to the chat and stuff like that, so maybe if my channel become a little bit more bigger and I had more people in the chat it would be more fun. But I won't be doing I will be doing a fight companion for this weekend and also a few weeks after that. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I hope to see you guys in the fight companion. In my opinion, my fight companions are really good. But I think that's just because I overreact to literally everything. I don't know how much you guys enjoy the fight companions, but I've had good reviews. So I definitely will be looking to do more fight companions in the future. But this is going to be a good card. I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you think in the comments. And leave a like if you made it this far. And if you made it this far and you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.